Welcome to June's Flamingo Community Lagoon. Once again, it is the last Tuesday of the month, so we're here hanging out to chat about Flamingo Finance, the project roadmap, DeFi, crypto markets, and anything else, as well as answer any questions the Flamingo community may have. For those who don't know, Flamingo Finance is an easy to use DeFi platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. As a decentralized exchange, Flamingo is designed with smart functions for everyone, from beginners to advanced cryptocurrency users. On Flamingo, users can stake cryptocurrency in liquidity pools and earn rewards in our native token FLM. We've been around for over 3 years and currently have a TVL, or total locked value, of over $50 million. We've also introduced our very own stablecoin called FUSD, where users can add collateral and borrow the stablecoin against the collateral. For those listening in on YouTube or Spotify, we hold these lagoons live on Discord, which we'll link below so you can join in on the next one. And please don't forget to like and subscribe from any platform you're tuning in from. Your support is greatly appreciated and is important to get more flamingos at the lagoons each month. If you're in the audience, feel free to raise your hand to come join us on stage, ask any questions you may have, or drop your questions in the chat and we'll keep tabs on it. So with that, let's get started. I thought we could start this lagoon by reminding everyone that we currently have a 1,000 gas reward dashboard-a-thon, which is likened to a hackathon, where we are rewarding developers or new developers or people who are just learning how to develop over 1,000 gas to basically build a dashboard or several dashboards or bots for Flamingo. So that could include things such as statistics and data from the Flamingo Finance platform already. It could include anything from the Neo blockchain in general, so on and so forth. You can submit your projects to anyone on the Flamingo team. Just DM one of us, and we will add it to the pool of submissions to be voted on. And then at the end of the next 2 weeks, we will the team will get together and judge all of the submissions, and we'll come up with a top 3 or more projects that we liked the most, and we will look at everything that was submitted and add the links to the Flamingo Analytics page, as well as reward the projects over 1,000 gas. So I'm super excited about that, super excited to see more submissions coming in. I know that we've had several so far. I know that we've had a Flamingo style chat GPT entered. I think I've seen submission from a project called Frank Token. Seems like he has some analytics in his World of Elements game going on. I'm not sure if any of the other mods have received any other submissions so far.
No, been working with some, or helping, not working with, but helping some others when they have question about how to get live data, because the API that we are providing is not it's not live data per se, so it's history. That's the API. It's serving history, but if you want live data, you have to request that from the network, because network has the latest state basically. So been helping out with some of that, and that's good that new developers are coming in and learn how to code and invoke the blockchain and stuff like that. So yeah, let's hope we get some cool dashboards. Myself, I'm really eager to join, but yeah, I had to fix some issues with trade history. I had forgotten that we had that page. So when I was sitting there, I think it was a Saturday morning or something, I was like, okay, but I have the prices that you paid for this, so I can also add, like, if you have a profit. So now I want to make a dashboard where you can see all your trades that you've done since day one, and you can like see each trade, and you can see if you have profits or losses on them. So I'm just having some fun with that. Like I'm going away for 2 weeks on a vacation now, and for me, that's vacation is work on something else, basically. So I think I will be working on that, but I can't submit it to the contest. But yeah, the more dashboards, the better, I guess. The more insights for users, the better. So I hope there's some cool stuff coming up.
I've seen
And I
a
guess
meme going
that's
around.
how
with it.
we started out with Flamingo as well, Mr. Google. That was
Yeah.
creating more insights and more data and making it more accessible. So
My
I'm eager
Mingo.
to see. Yeah, I'm eager to see what's what will come of this. As which it should always be community driven, as well as having this core team working on improving all the time. It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
good point about the My Mingo dashboard. And that's how
Yeah.
you guys took over.
So Bexit Plan is already asking in the chat. So he has a question: what is the holdup with Flux? And I could answer that first in a short answer and then in a long answer. The holdup with Flux is basically the holdup with the order book. It's the same thing. We won't release Flux until the order book is released, because there is some parts that are interconnected. So the long answer then becomes, what's the status of the order book? And I want to share with you today where we're at. So right now we have rewritten everything inside this huge code repository that I talked a little bit about last time, where we have a testing environment set up for Flamingo, where we can test everything in isolation and run tests really fast to figure out what's going on, what's going wrong, where to optimize. And now we've rewritten most of the logic in the order book, so we have been able to confirm where all the bottlenecks inside the contracts are. And we long thought it was because of the high gas cost was because of how much data we stored, but it turns out it was more on the execution side of things. How many loops we did in the code, how many checks we did, different insertions, getting right or reading data from storage, and we're optimizing that now. So, and we're also implementing tests to confirm that we have the correct logic. That is about 20% done, I would say, and that's the first hard 20%. Getting everything set up and identifying those errors. I guess we will for what we do, it should be done in about 2-3 weeks, and then part of that is optimizing for a lower gas cost, and that should be done in 1 to 2 weeks. And we're also then working on, at the same time, implementing the swapping in the AMM at the same time you are trading in the order book, so that you get the best prices, and that's almost 80% done. So we hope to get that done in the end of that week, of this week. So this is the status right now, and we have a long-term plan to get to production. And after we are done with these 3 tasks that I talked about right now, like implementing all these tests and lowering the gas cost and implementing the AMM swap logic, there are a few tasks left, and that is splitting the contract into like a system where you don't have to like send tokens around that much if you swap between 2 to 3 pools to do a convert the way you do now. And even if you just stay on Flamingo and trade a lot, you don't have to go in and out of the contract. So we will add another layer on top of all the contracts called the broker contract, and that's the fourth step of the plan. And then comes the flock. Then we implement the flock directly into those contracts as well. So all the fees and settlements and epochs can be done.
Yeah,
yes, can be handled there and have much lower fees. And also, it should be easier to test all that logic together. After that is done, we have to have a new security audit. And that's basically the last step. Once we get the green lights on the audit, we will launch. So that's the final steps before we launch. Estimation it's hard to say, but we're taking it a few steps at a time now, and we guess the 3 first steps should be done in 3 to 4 weeks. So that's the long answer for that question.
It's working. It's expensive, and we rewritten it a couple of times now. It's I know it sucks, but yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, like we were fumbling around blind. We were 100% sure that the reason that it was expensive was storage costs. Atlasor did an amazing job for the last 2 weeks. We've been making a lot of tools for the Neo blockchain. So first of all, we made this mono test repo where you or other developers that will make contracts in the future can easily test their new contracts without needing to run a private net. And then secondly, for the last 14 days, Atlasor made this gas estimation gas cost script, so you can see line for line what costs gas. So it's been a lot of infrastructure that's been made. That is really nice to have moving forward, of course. But it's taken time because fumbling around in the dark, like removing one line and then taking it back or removing another line. So, but then we found out like it's execution. I would never guess it was execution cost. That was the issue. So at least now we're on the right path. And as Atlasor said, this week or next week, the gas optimization would come to an end, and then it's about like implementing the rest of the logic and bringing it all together. So it is what it is. I think we said September because summer coming up. It is a time where kids are not in school or kindergarten. The team have spouses that think we work enough. So yeah, there is and then you have all the other stuff on the side, like you get bug reports from people claiming that they can steal assets, and you have to spend 3 hours to investigate it, and that's also a part of the routine. You can't just say like, no, you can't because it's been safe for 3 years. You always have to take that seriously, and you have to look into it. And then you have some Discord bots that need some stuff, and then you have something of this or a parser there. So there's always other tasks as well.
So there's maintenance at the same time as we chug along. But we were working a few developers now in parallel on the order book as well. So I've been doing a lot of the tooling, and a couple of other developers has been working in parallel as well with the core logic of the contract. And it was cool to finally see it working, that we could check gas cost line by line. I'm not 100% sure it's correct, but it should give us an indication of where the bottlenecks are. For now, it's just a rudimentary tool. It will be part of that mono repo. So when we publish that code, everyone can use it in their own project. And as Mr. Google said as well, if you want to make a smart contract that is reliant on Flamingo, it will be easier for you to use
like a trading
that
bot
repo
or something like that. If you want to make something that's integrated with Flamingo, you will have the setup ready, and you can just make your contract and you can test it. So
use that as a starting point where you can continue So right now we have done just a few optimization, and I think the gas cost is 0.11 gas or something for market sell, and also for limit order and market sell in the same order. That's 0.11
Yeah, so
right
then
now.
it's
I
like
think it is.
0.22 with the AMM, around 0.22 with
Yes,
Yeah.
might be, but we're not sure, because if we implement that broker layer, that might not be true. It might be less.
Yeah.
So, but keep in mind, this is with some other config for the NEO policy. That's basically the settings of the whole network that decides how much everything costs, like the storage fee, how much it costs to execute something on the NEO blockchain. And we're pretty sure that's going to be adjusted down in the future. So we're testing with the new values that is most probable that will be used once we launch. And with those settings, it seems like we are 0.11 gas right now, and maybe with
AMM
more
will be
logic,
much
as we need that
cheaper.
for security.
Yeah, but then the
Yeah.
AMM will be cheaper as well. So yeah, because 0.11.
Yes, but I guess maybe we should say that we double that, just to not get our hopes up, because that's a really good. That's a good cost. So
where we end now is where we end. So basically, then that's the cost it is to operate the order book on Neo and 3. So so that's the thing there. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Devil. I guess it's extremely expensive, but it's basically the decentralized infrastructure, decentralized. So I haven't seen, at least not on Neo, of course, but on an EVM or stuff like that, that is not centralized. I've seen some centralized platforms that run 3 servers or nodes that are their own, where they set their own fees, where it's cheap to do what you call decentralized trading, but it's basically centralized trading. But yeah, there comes a limit where you need the security checks, and they have a cost. You need to do the iterations through the order book, that has a cost, and you need to do the trading in the AMM, and that has a cost. So I guess when we're done, the cost is the cheapest you can get it on N3, and I guess if someone can optimize that, it's always nice. But yeah, it's our main priority is to get it as cheap as possible, because we know the cheaper it is, the more it will be used. It's simple as that. If it's basically free, people will use it more. If it's really expensive, people will use it less.
Yeah, and that's the reason for the whole hold up as well. Yeah. Because we want to make it as cheap as possible. So that's what we're doing. And it's hard to say now, because we're in the 20% of the optimization. There's still a lot of angles we want to look at. So it's hard to say where we end up after that. It's impossible to check before. So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess after that, it's the Tau.
That's where we are at right now. Yeah.
So no, but 0.22 with new settings Neo dashboard. But the AMM would also be a lot cheaper. So yeah, but yeah, let's wait and see, I guess.
We'll see. In a couple of weeks, we'll have a better idea. This is just where we're at right now. Since the question came up, I thought I should answer it. So yeah.
Yeah. And then the Tau, I guess it would make sense to maybe launch that on the EVM, but of course on N3 as well. But yeah, that's next step.
Yep, I'm not sure if I'm disconnected sometimes. I'm having trouble with my internet connection, so if I seem out of touch today, it's because I'm struggling to hear what the other participants are saying.
Neo Dashboard is wondering what you think the new settings will be.
Yes. I can't share what I think it will be inside the chat.
Yeah.
I could just copy paste the settings I use. Let me do that real quick.
Yeah, but then it's like that's not the new settings. It's what do you think the new settings will be after some discussions and stuff like that, and nothing is done or
nothing is done
yet. Yeah.
I think in capital letters. And of course, that will make everything a lot cheaper on the Neo blockchain, which would be good. We've had like discussion with people who run the nodes on Neo, basically the governance, and the sentiment, at least from my side and a couple of others as well, is that we need to compete on more than just being developer friendly, because we have been developer friendly for a lot of years. And I think that we need to compete on more than just being developer friendly and having cheap network. Having a cheap network to operate on is one point where we can compete. So I think that makes a lot of sense. The only like half good argument I've heard against is, okay, it might compromise security because it might overflood the network with a lot of transactions.
But that's griefer attacks. So basically, a person would have to pay for doing millions of transactions.
Yes. And I think that could be a luxury problem, because it's the same easy approach to setting the fees back up again if the networks become congested. But at the same time, the team that had the most concern about this is the same one that are bragging about how much it's possible to have in terms of transactions on the network. So I'm not sure we should be that worried about it. If the networks become overflooded, then maybe that's a luxury problem.
That can be, that's a luxury that you can solve.
Let's get there first before that's a problem.
Building Fort Knox before you have any gold. So no, there's not a public discussion as far as I know. There's a group for all the node operators.
Yes.
So
on Neo, you vote for the nodes, and the nodes, they have on their own initiative created groups to communicate, and that's where we chat about this stuff. Everything that is being chatted about on the Neo Discord or other places for communicating within the Neo community. If someone has concerns about the fees, the settings, everything, and that's a topic that gets discussed for more than one day, of course, that's something we're going to notice, and the governance is going to discuss it.
Neo channel, Neo Discord channel. Is the right place to do it? I don't think they have a channel to reach out. Maybe we can suggest that to them to have this node channel where people can
like every node operator is in that channel, in the Neo channel. So if there is any concern or any DApp that wants adjustment or anything to the network, that's just to say your opinion there. And if the governance node that you're voting for doesn't want the same as you, then switch your vote. That's how Neo works, basically. You should vote for the node that wants to do what you want to do with the network. And here at Flamingo has a node, and we have a concern on how we want the network to operate, and we are swaying our vote in that way. And it seems like a lot of the other node operators are agreeing, and nothing is final before transactions are signed. But that's why I'm hopeful.
Nice.
I'm just reading through the chats as well. Going back to the topic of Dashboardathon, will there be improvements in the API documentation based on developer experience throughout these contests? Odd, I think you are the one to maybe answer that one.
I thought they were perfect.
Yes.
No,
as with everything you do.
Yeah. No, it's that's something that's I'm really open for good feedback on that one. It's really not that good documented. That's why also I'm trying to help everyone that has questions with even stuff that's not in the scope of the API, of course. But please give some feedback to what's needed. That's an API for other projects to use. Flamingo will use the same API as well. So basically, it was built for Flamingo front end, but then we had this idea to have this dashboard contest. So yeah, just feel free to shoot feedback, and we will improve it along the way.
Yep. All right. I think we should do then throughout the summer and after we're back from some vacations, I think I will do a small vacation later in the summer, and Mr. Google will do now, and maybe some of the team will be away for short periods of time. But throughout that, we should give some continual updates on how it's going with the order books and vlogs. I think we should be able to do that weekly at least. And if we are able to lower the gas cost even further, we will share the good news. And if not, we will share where we are at in the process. I guess we won't. Hopefully, we won't get much higher on the gas costs. So, but if we are able to go lower, we can share how we were able to do that and where we are at. So then we will gradually approach a mainnet launch, and people can follow that instead of we're setting a strict deadline because there's so many unknowns still. But we are aiming of August, September. Was it September maybe we said, Mr. Google?
I think September, yeah.
September.
I've been optimistic for way too long, so for me it's September 2029.
Yeah, exactly. No, but a rough estimation of September with continual updates, I think is what will happen from here on out.
Yeah, but it's always been like this. It's some setbacks now and then, and at the end, we still have some improvements to do on FUSD, but it's been working great with FUSD. So yeah, you can say that it's been underpegged, it's been overpegged, yeah, but it's still been working. It's underpegged. That's just meaning that people that have loans and have interests are not willing to buy it. Okay, then we need to make some more buying pressure on the other side. So that's okay, but it's like the stable coin that is not backed by any centralized financial institution. And it's easy to say that you're gonna make something decentralized, and that's not like an order book sounds like a really simple task to do. And if you're making something that's running on your own computer, it's simple to make an order book. But when you're doing it decentralized, and same for FUSD, it's way harder because there's so many surfaces, there's so many angles, there's so many things that you have to consider, you have to test for, you have to think about. So that's why the test suit that we made, it's made me really optimistic, because then you can make tests for all this kind of stuff and you can do changes and interact way faster than we did in the start.
Yeah, should have been there from the beginning, but hindsight is 2020. That's the way it is. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think for thinking ahead of order book and flux, right now we're considering 3 or 4 things that should happen after we launch order book and Flux, and that's either the token auction offering, the TAO, new cross-chain solutions, so that we'll not
Yeah, but that's a
only
big
rely
one.
on
So
Poly
yeah,
network.
so that, yeah, but that's a
Yeah.
really big one. And if we get that to work, yeah, it's a big one, because
Yes.
then you won't have the platform risk and you won't have asset risks, basically.
Yes.
And that's the issue right now with Poly network. You have to lock up Bitcoin or WBTC in a contract, and that is platform risk, because if that contract is hacked, then someone can get your Bitcoin. But you have like Bitcoin on Flamingo, but that's just a wrapped Bitcoin that's wrapped on Ethereum, that's wrapped on Bitcoin again. So then you have a lot of platform risk and you have a lot of asset risk. So even if you're holding a Bitcoin on Flamingo,
Yes.
it doesn't matter, because you still are exposed to the risk of what's happening to the underlying asset. But then we theorized a solution where you don't have that risk anymore. So yeah, we're pretty sure that it will work, right? At least from what we
Yeah, there is already kind of proof in the pudding, at least from the Bitcoin side, where there was this quote unquote recent update that made this possible on Bitcoin, and I think others are also like experimenting with this new approach for this type of cross-chain swaps. So I think just the difference is that we are in a good position to make peer-to-peer matching that is needed for this type of solution to work. You could, like anyone can set up this solution, not quite easily, but yeah, it's not that unique. It's the logic and the approach that is unique, and then you need to have this peer-to-peer matching, and you need to have already like an established network of trust, I guess, between buyer and seller. And I think Flamingo is a big enough platform to be able to launch such a service with success. And so yeah, on the technical side,
you don't need to have trust between the two parties. You need to trust the solution you're using, the platform. You need to have trust just when your transaction is going
I guess
there.
not between the buyer and seller, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I need to
but
trust that when I sent the assets to the contract that Flamingo made, I need to trust that it's safe on the Flamingo's side, that they made solid contract, and when the deal is done, I don't have the risk anymore. So I have the risk. It's like doing a swap. You have the risk just when you do the swap, but then the assets is back in your wallet afterwards.
Yeah, but we still need an interface to be able to do all these trades between pairs. Yes, and that's what I meant. You need to not between like peer to peer, but making sure that the provider that's kind of like showing you all these trades and who they are and what to invoke on the other side is working. And you need to have some kind of traffic at least. You need someone else waiting on the other side. So that's what I meant, like with Flamingo having enough traffic to make it work. So that's why I'm hopeful, because on the technical side it seems like it's working, because others are considering this solution as well, and it's something that could be that many people can implement and still could revolutionize how cross-chain is done. So it should be good. But yeah, back to what I was saying, after Order Book and Flux, I think we have 4 things. That should be a new cross-chain solution, token auction offering, improvements to lend. I know Mr. Google has some improvements he really wants to do and some ideas. And then, of course, NeoX launch. So these 4, we need to figure out which one comes first. In my opinion, I would love to see the token auction offering first, because the product is quite small, and I'm eager to see some token auction offerings again, or some token listings, and combined with the new order book, that should be easy to do. We could have even more tokens now, so that would be really fun. So I would love to do that first. But it depends also on the timing of the NeoX launch and when we're done with order book on Flux. So maybe that should take precedence to have Flamingo set up on NeoX with some basic features.
Yeah, I think like let's look at that once we're done with this huge mountain of stuff. So
yeah, but that's basically the kind of where we're at and what we're thinking about the future right now.
Yeah.
And along that, there should be user experience improvement as we go along. And finally, we really want to make Flamingo accessible for everyone, even if the site goes down. So we're thinking of making it really easy to run Flamingo on your own computer. That sounds like really complicated, but it shouldn't be. And in the spirit of Web3 and everything being decentralized, I think that's a huge problem that most of these D-apps are running on some server somewhere on a domain that somebody owns. It shouldn't be that way. It should be possible for everyone to boot up that interface and run it on their own computer so that we are truly decentralized. And of course, maybe it's hard with all the history and maybe liquidation history, trade history. That's something that needs to be aggregated on servers and served to you in a fast way. That's
Why?
maybe a bigger tech stack. I'm not sure, but
no,
you
that's just the same.
Okay, then it's just the same.
Yeah.
But still, it's like even if you don't have the history, you could still have everything you need to use Flamingo.
We just, in my head at least, we throw in the whole tech stack there because it's just a Docker container. So we throw in all the different, like the parser, the database, and everything. So but everything then is local. So
Yep.
so you parse the blockchain on your computer and you save it in your database, and you can interact with Flamingo locally from your own computer. So then you can verify everything. Then you can like be sure that it's locally for you, and even if there's something in the future where the government or someone is doing something to the domain, the platform still lives on.
Yes.
So it's truly decentralized. So it's a peer-to-peer. Yeah.
Crypto Babylon is asking in the chat, so no internet required. If that's is the case, well, yeah, you still need to communicate with others for the network to operate. So you still need the internet connection, but it could even be at the IP level at that point, because you're just dependent on reaching other neo nodes, and that's really hard for anyone to censor and take down. That's the whole reason behind blockchain.
You're hosting your own node, so
but if the internet service provider was able for you not to communicate with other neo nodes, that would be the only thing that would take down the site for you. In that case, you don't need to be able to access that top domain or that domain name Flamingo Finance.
No. So
that's the end goal, kind of like then we're truly going to a decentralized D-app world.
Download and install Flamingo on your computer.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But auditing has been completed for the order book, but we need to do it again. So basically that was where we got screwed when it came to the auditing, because that implemented a lot of checks that costs a lot of gas. So now we need to, like we talked about, we're rethinking and we're testing different angles. We saw that it's not storage that has the high cost that we were sure that it had. So now we need to like cache stuff instead of in the storage instead of computing it every time, because but the audit will be simpler because the auditors can also use this test suite that we made, so it will be much simpler for them as well to test even more thorough than they've been able to test so far. So even better for security.
Yeah, by the way, even though Fox has taken a little longer than we originally anticipated, with the updates to order book and the gas fees and costs and optimization, and everything, and all of the new audits and all of that, it doesn't mean that we're just sitting around while the devs are working, or the devs are sitting around. It's never any of that. We're all working super hard all day, every day. From the marketing side specifically, we are currently still running the $1,000 a month Zealy campaigns, and setting all of that up actually does take a lot of work, managing all of the different tasks on Zealy for everything that we launch. So let's say we make a video with new content for Flamingo. Even just, for example, this Lagoon, every AMA Lagoon becomes its own video. We set up a task for that on Zealy. Let's say we make 10 shorts out of this Lagoon. We set up a task for each of those shorts on Zealy. The idea on Zealy is to use it as a marketing tool to further push everything that we're doing here on Flamingo, kind of in the background. So to have users like the tasks, to like the videos, to retweet the videos, to comment on the videos, etc., to join us on YouTube, to join the Discord, to join even these AMAs, things like that. So we launch probably, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 50 tasks every month on Zealy. And then all of that also requires all of the moderation on Discord. People have questions about this task or that task, and there's thousands of users participating in these Zealy contests. So it really does take a bulk of our time and our efforts and our energy. Is basically getting the army behind Zealy users to help us push the Flamingo message each month, and reward them for that, of course. Then we also have the Flamingo Ambassador Program. So this is beyond Zealy. This is more people taking it upon themselves to help Flamingo in any way that they see fit. That could be on the Flamingo Discord, or helping us show FLM or Flamingo in other ways, such as creating content on YouTube or some extra tweets on Twitter. It all goes a long way, and ambassadors just report to us, what they've done over the past several weeks, and each month or so. It's not like a specific timeline or schedule, but every month or so the team gets together and kind of picks a handful of our favorite ambassadors who've done the best work, and we reward them. So there's always that going on in the background as well, and moderated on Discord. And then there's some of the other things that are happening in the background, such as like the PR. So not only do we constantly research and reach out to various influencers in the Web3 and DeFi and crypto space, we're always on the lookout for nice influencers to help us spread the message. But I'm also specifically contacting big journalists in this space, especially about this new Flocks and order book update coming later this year. We plan to really push the marketing pedal to the metal on that one. So there's a lot of ducks to get in a row, so to speak, for that launch. So that's one of those things, is reaching out to some bigger journalists about that. I'm also reaching out to various exchanges that FLM is listed on, because those exchanges each have their own marketing tools set up for this exact thing, So reaching out to various exchanges that FLM is listed on to help us market Flocks and the order book, and other things, FLM in general. So that's always ongoing work. And then, we also have the 1,000 gas dashboardathon wrapping up in 2 weeks. So that'll be some more to come. And yeah, so there's, even though it might seem a little silent, or it might seem that Flocks and order book is taking a little bit longer, the team is still working diligently each and every day on all of these things that might not be seen like right in the forefront. But during these AMAs, it's a good time for us to give updates on what the team has been working on in the background. We're not just going to come out on Discord and say, this is what we're doing today. But here in these AMAs, this is the time for us to kind of give you all a good update on all of the ongoings for Flamingo, kind of behind the scenes. So if anyone has, any questions regarding any of that, or any of the, the marketing, roadmap or tasks that we're up to in the background, feel free to, join us on stage or drop them in the chat, and we'd be happy to answer those as well. Looks like we have a couple more questions. What happened to Doe Drift? Just noticed a big liquidity drop. That I personally can't answer. I don't know if anyone else can.
I haven't seen it, but I seen in their server now and then that there's some people that's not always happy with the progress, but there's the base liquidity is still there. So either it's the project's own liquidity, or a user or holder that's removed their liquidity for various reasons. Yeah.
Should be a normal withdrawal of liquidity then, but maybe it's a big bag holder. Not sure.
Yeah.
It's maybe possible. Of course, you can write in our Discord channel in the general to ask, and also it's possible to ask in their Discord channel. I don't know how active they are there to respond to check if it's the project, but it might be, as what says, a big bag holder. Yes. So, anything else new you want to talk about, Mr. Google, Saturov, Morton? Somniwave has been killing it lately with his videos that he's been making all the time, and I would like to give a shout out to him. Like, his work is so professional, and I really love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I just like to say that. Yeah, I'm really liking the content that's coming out too, and me and Bordeaux have some stuff coming up leading up to the order book and Flock's launch. Happy to say that we'll be running, it's still in the works, but we'll be, putting together some kind of campaign, a good sized campaign on Twitter to help with the Flock's launch. And then there will be also video content specifically for that. So I think that should really kind of give a nice boost leading up to the launch, at the launch, and then post launch as well. So hopefully that'll get the word out some more, right, Bordeaux?
Yeah, no, thanks for mentioning that. I forgot to mention that earlier. We were running some paid ad campaigns on various crypto websites recently, but the reason that we put a stop to that is because we couldn't really actually look at the data without specific landing pages on Flamingo for that. And then we also ran some paid ad campaigns on YouTube and on Google, which they were quickly taken down because we're in DeFi and crypto. But Somniwave and I recently discovered that, not discovered, but I guess realized that we can kind of market the Flamingo platform from our own personal channels without being taken down, because we personally aren't Flamingo. We personally aren't a crypto project. So what we plan to do is market Flamingo and Flocks and Orderbook and everything else from our own personal accounts on Twitter. And that way we can run, which we already do, but then what we're also going to do is run paid ad, like heavy duty paid advertisement on Twitter from our personal accounts to push Flocks and Orderbook as far as humanly possible, basically. So we have a lot of marketing budget set aside specifically for that. We were going to start doing that recently when we first realized that was a possibility, but we decided to just hold off just a little bit longer until Flocks and Orderbook are either ready or almost ready, or at least announced more officially, because everything is going to change on Flamingo soon. So we decided, it's better to wait for the changes to happen before we really, really market hard. Otherwise, it's like marketing hard on a product that isn't quite ready yet or finished, or might be, will be changing a lot in the near future. So, that's another thing to look forward to in terms of marketing Flamingo, running hardcore paid advertisements again pretty soon. So you can all look forward to that as well. Thanks for the reminder, Somnium Wave. Looks like we have another question. Do you plan to use gas or a percentage of FLM emissions to reward trading volume outside trade competition? Trying to think outside the box.
Yes, it's like rewarding people just for trading, I guess. I think that would be Flox's job. Like you get a percentage of the trading volume, or the share of the fees, or basically all the fees, other than the fees going to the liquidity provider. Yeah.
Yep. So we have another question.
Concrete plan for that. There is another question for Crypto Babylon. Isn't it Neo's marketing team responsible to handle the marketing of Flamingo? Well, not really. It helps if they want to, but it's kind of two separate projects. Even though a lot of the same people at Neo started out working with Flamingo, it's not the case anymore that it's 100% the same team. So it was kind of incubated there, but now it's two different marketing teams.
Yeah.
So if they want to help, that helps a lot, but it isn't their responsibility. If anyone wants to come to the stage also, it's possible to do. We have 7 minutes left if anyone wants to rant or speak with us on any kind of Flamingo topic or anything else. Or else we're soon wrapping up.
I agree that traders maybe won't use blocks, but traders trade, so their incentive should be to do good trades, I guess.
For Cripit's question, trader wants that he says that traders won't use Flock. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like cheap fees and decentralized trading. That's of course, if you can get the gas fee down and the fees of doing the trades themselves, and that it's decentralized, your wallet, your assets, basically. I think, yeah, but
well, I shouldn't discard it 100%, flip it. Having some gas or FLM set aside to rewards or something kind of like that, incentives in other ways could be possible in the future. Yes, it becomes until a certain point where a trading platform, decentralized platform, doesn't need to develop new features all the time. So then there's a lot of gas there to. I think you need marketing all the time, but development becomes more like maintenance. So maybe at some point there is gas to set aside to go to users who use the platform in a certain way, or it goes to the flocks. I'm not sure in the future. It might be possible. like it at some point you will go into like maintenance mode instead of like building new stuff and replacing old stuff all the time. So maybe then it's more possible to do things like you suggest. All right.
All right. Then, of course, we'll have, more volume on Flamingo once Tau is released as well, and incentive there, right, for minimum volume on specific tokens, so that they can try to get listed on Flamingo. So that's another kind of, I guess, incentive to further, the trading volumes on Flamingo. So can look forward to that.
Yeah. I think there will be a lot of different incentives to make trading happen, and one of them is, of course, a lower gas fee. The lower the gas fee, the more trading we can have. So we'll try to optimize for that. And if there is some kind of pool that make some sort of trades free during the day, it's super hard to give it out in a fair way because we don't have identity for anyone who does trade, because it's basically peer-to-peer. So then it becomes kind of hard to allocate gas evenly. I guess some will be technical enough to take advantage of such stuff and then take all the gas available for a day or a month or whatever that is distributed. Yeah. So yeah, but we're open for suggestions always. So it's good with suggestions like that for a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Looks like we have maybe one more person typing.
Yeah. And then we have to wrap up. I have a new meeting at 4. So.
Okay. We're
waiting for your Brexit plan. No rush. I think it would be better to launch everything on Flux right now, no, on NeoX right now, of course. But I think there's some stuff you can't do on an EVM. Some of the stuff, and also the reason why we're not in the front line of the EVM yet is that things needs time. I guess there will be some stuff they need to improve on NeoX as well when they launch. I don't think they will launch in a full scale version that is like completed. I think they will launch in alpha or a beta. So there will be some like child diseases. So for now we're focusing on N3, and of course if we see that and hopefully NeoX kicks off, then our goal is of course to bridge people over to Neo N3, and if they're not doing that, then we have to bridge over Flamingo to NeoX, of course.
It's much easier to develop on Neo, N3, the Neo VM and Neo N3 chain, since we can write code in multiple languages, and it has a really handy feature set. So if we can first innovate on Neo, and I think we will always do that, we will always innovate on Neo N3 first, and then move over to Neo X or other EVM-based chains. So that should pretty much answer that question, and I think we need to wrap it up.
Yep. Yeah. Again, thank you everyone for joining. This has been an excellent Community Lagoon AMA. Appreciate you coming around, and yeah, hope you join us next time. Thanks again. We'll see you there.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Bye. Later, guys.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.